We are delighted to have back in the studio with us today Bill Muir. Bill is the director, the producer, and the writer of the movie The Lost Medallion, and it shows up in the theaters tomorrow. And be listening here, we even got some tickets to give away. And again, let me remind you, go to the Dove Facebook page, you're going to see the banner there, and we're asking you to share that banner with a friend, and then your name will go in the hat for the drawing for some other tickets as well. So it opens up this weekend, Tinseltown, and also in the theaters there in Grants Pass. Absolutely important that this weekend we fill the theaters up. And Bill, I'm going to have you highlight that, but good to see you.
It's good to see you, Perry. Thanks for having me.
The movie is terrific. Got to go to the preview, the premiere, and we have some responses to that. I'll show you that in a few minutes, but this has been a long journey for you, hasn't it?
It has. It's been a labor of love. We really went into this wanting to impact the culture and to bring God's story into the marketplace. And the feedback, we opened March 1st in other cities, has been amazing. In Auburn, we're hitting 100% approval of parents, of teachers, of educators, of business people who've come out of the movie for the last 2 weeks there and say it's an A movie. So that's been very encouraging for us.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. How long did it take you to do the film?
About 4 years. Yes. Don't laugh at me, Perry. That's you're laughing at my pain.
No,
you're laughing at my pain.
Well, you know, I feel you. I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Yeah.
It's you know, the truth is most feature films take 5 years. It's you know, by the time you begin and end, it's a longer journey than people think. But when you go through it yourself, it's painful.
Yeah. And you did this in Thailand.
Filmed it in Thailand.
And but you came up with the storyline.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
It just came out of our own experience. My wife has an incredible gift of mercy and hospitality, and we started bringing in foster kids and saw their brokenness and thought, you know what, let's do a movie that speaks to the heart of kids. John and Marilyn Duke came to the story and have this incredible heart. You know them. They wanted us to take a film that would tell children that they're loved by God, that they have significance. It comes from the inside out, and it was really driven by seeing kids that were either invisible or picked on, and to say, you know what, God has created you for this moment. You have meaning and purpose, no matter what people say, whatever clothes you're wearing. And we wanted to create a film that parents on the way home could talk to their kids about God. And what's been fun is we've already got amazing stories from fathers who literally on the way home from this movie, for the first time they admit, talked to their kids about God and spiritual things and said, I say this somewhat embarrassed, but I had the first conversation with my kids where I took the initiative and say, tell me what you think about God, Jimmy, and tell me what place He is in your life. And it's revolutionized some relationships between parents and kids.
Therefore, mission accomplished, so to speak.
Yes, and our dream is to see more and more families touched by this whole journey.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a few moments here, and here's the trailer of The Lost Medallion. Again, it shows up here locally starting tomorrow, and then we have some other segments we'll show you, but this is the trailer to Lost Medallion.
Are you here to tell us a story?
Okay, I've got a story. It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit funny. It's got a lot of action. This story is called The Lost Medallion.
Who found it?
It's the new medallion.
Get them! Get them!
He doesn't have the medallion.
Dad!
He's just a kid.
Get back here!
Billy, what is that? It's a stone! It really is special!
Our families have been searching for the medallion for generations.
Where are we? Nowhere. When?
You have something I want.
Let her go!
First, the medallion.
Jump!
Now, you are truly invincible, my lord.
So now what do we do, Billy?
We go to Cobra's Island.
We need your help.
Now's the time for a tiger's courage.
Why won't the medallion work for me?
It was never about a medallion.
Let's go.
With his heart, you will gain the world.
He's my enemy.
Can't give up. We can't give up. I told you just so much is bad.
Sometimes what you are seeking is already inside of you.
Who are you to challenge me? Nothing but a worm.
Well, there it is, The Lost Medallion. And Bill Muir is with us today in the studio. Bill is the writer of that, the producer, the director, and it is just extremely well done, Bill.
Well, thank you, Perry.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
I walked out of there going, whoa, you know, and it shows up tomorrow in the theaters and here locally in Tinseltown and also in Grants Pass. Now, it's critical we show up this weekend.
Yeah, it really is, because theaters will decide on Monday, both coming attractions at Southgate and Grants Pass and Tinseltown. Their managers sit down on Monday, look at the numbers. If we're in the top 50%, we stay on for another week. If we're in the bottom 50, and so they only look at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's numbers. And so if we don't get out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, on Monday they make their call. Even if everybody went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's already too late. So. Yeah. Opening weekend is pivotal for us at Tinseltown and Southgate.
All right, so take your kids, and kids take your parents.
Yeah.
And go see this. How did you go from evangelist to movie writer to screenplay writer?
Oh, that's a great question, Perry. When I was the senior vice president, I spoke around the world and across the country. Almost every week I was out speaking at some event. I had a friend who took a couple of my illustrations. I used a lot of metaphors in my speaking, a lot of storytelling, parables, and he took one of them and we made a movie out of it in 1988, which became a movie that that 3 million kids came to know Jesus Christ through. Wow. And so it really came up in that and became a classic film, which was fun. 3 years later, he took another one of my illustrations. We made a movie out of that. 1 million kids came to know Jesus Christ through that. And then I began to watch that and say, you know, this is a pretty powerful medium, and this has a nice shelf life to it. I don't have to get on a plane every weekend and go somewhere. This film is, and it was being shown on internet, it was being shown on cable television across the country, satellite in Arabic countries all over the world, places that I would have never imagined, translated into Spanish. And out of that, really out of my speaking came storytelling, out of my storytelling came screenwriting, out of screenwriting came movie making, and then in 2005, 2006, sat down with John Duke and Marilyn and said, let's take this one step farther to the theater. And let's try to do something even grander than 30-minute films. Wow.
So where does this go? You're going to have a great weekend. I'm just absolutely confident that the Dove audience is going to get out and support this and pack the theater this weekend. So what happens next? I mean, where does this go? How does this grow in the industry and get out through the country?
Well, that's a great question. What happens is other theaters and other cities look at the numbers, and if they see strong numbers, they say, we want that film in our town. So we're going to be releasing it through April and May. It'll hit DVDs later this summer. The book comes out in June with Lifeway. Wow. A book that Alex Kendrick and I wrote together, same story. Then we release it in Christian bookstores in September, and I was at NRB, you're well known there. I was already talking to people that says, let's do a Lost Medallion 2. So if there's strength, then we'll do more films.
Wow. Well, it's a wonderful film. The storyline is just incredible, and the acting, everything was good. And you guys, I shouldn't say good, it was excellent. Spent a lot of time in Thailand. The scenes are phenomenal. Where'd you find the locations?
Well, we got into vans and drove all over that country for about 2 weeks, found locations in jungles and beaches and villages and orphanages, and then we locked them in and came back 4 weeks later and started filming.
Wow. When do you know it's done?
Well, you know what they say, a film's never done, it's abandoned. So you eventually sand it as much as you can sand it and smooth it out and say, I think this is the story. And there's a sense, for me, it was a sense of conviction. I felt that we told the story well. I felt there was an emotional component to the story, that it rings with moms and dads and grandparents and kids. And when you get that feeling, you finish it, or you complete it, I should say.
Yeah. Well, we went to the premiere here in Medford several weeks ago, and quite a few people showed up. Several hundred people showed up and watched it. Our own Steve Johnson got some comments after that, and we'll share those with you when we come back. Bill Muir is with us today. He's the writer, the screenplay writer. He's the producer. He's the director. He's the water boy. He's the cameraman.
The janitor.
The janitor. He's an evangelist. He does it all. And he's the guy behind the movie The Lost Medallion, which will be here in Southern Oregon this coming Friday, tomorrow. And it'll be in Tinseltown and theaters there in Grants Pass. It's very, very important. The next 3 days we get out and support this film. Both Bill and those behind the film live right here in Southern Oregon, so it's kind of a homegrown product that's going to fan out across the country and minister to families and young people. It's got a great storyline, a great theme to it, and you designed it for, I think you say kids 5 and up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm telling kids 5 and up, drag your parents.
Please.
And then the whole thing is, I think you set the stage so well, Bill, by saying to the parents, look, afterwards, your kids now are primed for the question, tell me what's going on in your heart.
Right.
Elaborate on that.
Well, I think there's a lot of implications of this film for a family who goes. They experience an evening together, and that's always good. Even in a theater when there's 2 kids and 2 adults, and they're sitting and they're sharing the same popcorn, something is good there. I think for parents and for children, they leave with this strong impression that they're loved by God. I think that's a strong statement. And to hear God's name and His love for them through Alex Kendrick, who does a great job there, is very powerful. Right. I think on the way out of the theater, that sense of emotion that I am loved will carry on over the next week and month and hopefully lifetime. On the way home from the theater, in the car, it's our dream that parents will take their kids in a conversation that directs them toward God and to Jesus Christ and their own faith story and their kids' faith story. It's our dream that some of the kids will take their non-Christian friends to this movie, and in the back seat of the car with the parents up front, not only their kids will talk about God, but these non-Christian friends of Christian kids will hear about God's story. And then Sunday, those kids may go to Sunday school and discover it. So we have this waterfall effect that we really hope will happen, that will change lives and is already changing lives.
Well, the movie is a tool. It's an evangelistic tool for you to use. It's going to be placed right into your hands. It's there for you to use, not only within your own family, and I love what you're saying, that mom and dads are finally having that first initial conversation with their children about God and what's going on in their life. So it provides that opportunity, and also can be used with family and friends. Well, we went to the premiere, and I have to say, I thought that was so well done. Now, I know that you worked with
Impact Athletes.
Impact Athletes to pull that off. A little red carpet, little candles, the whole 9 yards. It was really terrific. I thought, well, this is first class. It was done over there at the brand new Medford, South Medford High School.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah, and really nice setting over there. So we went to it, and Steve Johnson began to interview some people after. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, we're going to run this to you. This is some of the reaction of people who saw the premiere of The Lost Medallion.
Hollywood is normally the location for movie premieres, but in this case, Medford was home to the opening of the new film, The Lost Medallion.
We found it!
Opening in Medford on March 15th, The Lost Medallion is designed to be a family-friendly movie, according to director and producer Bill Muir, who attended the red carpet showing in Southern Oregon, along with a special premiere audience.
I thought it was great. I thought it had a great message for not only kids but adults alike.
It was a wonderful family film, and that's what we look forward to every year, is something that the kids can enjoy in the theaters and the whole family can.
It's nice to see a film that has a good message and is friendly for every age.
It's about a boy on a quest to find a lost medallion, thinking that if he finds that medallion, it'll bring him importance, and in the end he discovers what was important was inside of himself.
I lost my father over it. So did I.
You just stop it, okay? Just stop it!
This is a king.
Let her go.
First the medallion.
While the production value of the film is high, Bill Muir says it was surprising what they could do to achieve their goal with limited funding.
Well, in Hollywood terms, it's a low budget movie. In Christian faith films and God-affirming films, it would be considered, probably would be considered a high budget movie.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Me too.
It was an A-level film. It was very impressive, and I'm glad I brought my son here tonight.
I thought it was really good. It had a great story. The acting was good.
Bill Muir adds this should be a good movie for young moviegoers who are between 6 and 14 years old who bring along their parents and grandparents.
If a family goes, everybody will enjoy it. Grandparents love it. Parents love it. They're all touched by the ending. It really entertains everybody. It's a little too aggressive, a little too many fights for children under 5, so I'd leave kids up to 5 with the babysitter, and kids 6 and up to 86 would love the movie.
The Lost Medallion is a film especially for those parents who might not otherwise go to the theater because of the content in some movies they may not want their kids to see. Well, that's not a problem they'll be faced with when they watch this movie.
What we attempted to do with this movie is to create a movie that had kind of an Indiana Jones feel. Anybody can go and will enjoy this movie. We've tested it with all the markets. But for people of faith, it has a very deep theme at the end where Alex Kendrick of Courageous and Fireproof tells the kids in the foster home how much they're loved by God. And it's our dream that on the way home from that conversation in the movie, that parents will have a conversation with their kids about how God demonstrates that love in Jesus Christ. Now, we don't go that far in the movie because it's really designed to appeal to everybody. But we've left it as a springboard so that parents can talk to their kids or take their kids to church and talk to them specifically about Jesus Christ and his death for them.
The Lost Medallion, showing at Medford's Tinseltown Theater beginning March 15th.
And also in Grants Pass. That all starts tomorrow. There you go. So
great piece. I want to take your team with me, Perry. That's good.
Well, that's Steve. That's what he does best.
Steve did a great job.
We just, as we were showing that, just to let you know, it's bouncing around on Facebook. I think we told you we had several thousand people take the banner and share it with somebody, and their name's going in the hat for a drawing. Karen just wrote in while we were watching that. She just wrote in and said, went to the premiere of this movie 3 weeks ago. It's one of the best movies for children that I have ever seen in a long time. Take your children 5 years and older and their friends, your neighbors, kids as well. You will not be disappointed. So there you go.
That's a great.
That's just a few seconds ago.
That's great.
So
good to hear.
It opens up tomorrow. We're pretty excited about that at Tinseltown, and again in Grants Pass. And it's so important. This is the weekend. So don't wait till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No, we got to do it today. Our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go see the movie and take your family and friends, because if we make the impact there, then it stays around for a while.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are involved in faith films that are really counting on us, because if this does well, then there'll be more faith films coming. And there's going to be a pretty good crowd of films coming out over the next 24 months if the faith community continues to support this kind of film, because Hollywood studios, theater managers really note this kind of stuff, and we can bring more and more good films to the theater by attending this one and others.
Okay. What's in your head? What's next there, Daddy?
Oh, that's boy. I was thinking on the way here. I've got.
No, don't do that. It costs money.
I know. It's painful. It's painful. Yeah. One is to do. I've already been approached to do Lost Medallion 2. That's a possibility. But I have an adult film for adults called Next Door, of a man who moves into a neighborhood to renovate a house, and in so doing renovates the lives of 5 families around that house.
Wow.
It may be what God's calling me to do on the next movie. We'll see.
Okay. Are you writing that, or
started? Yes.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes, I like to get in your brain and have lunch in there sometime. Well, listen, I also want to say to our viewers and listeners, we have 2 pairs of tickets. 2 pairs of tickets we're going to give them away right now to callers 14 and 15. So if you're listening or watching, callers 14 and 15 will get 2 pairs of tickets. So you can go and take some folks with you. And the phone number is 776-5368, 776-5368. And if you're watching along the coastline and listening along the coastline or down in Northern California over in Klamath Falls, toll free at 1-800-373-5368. You can get the tickets, come on over to Medford, have a hamburger, and go to the movie, okay? So who knows? Callers 14 and 15. Well, Bill, this is very exciting. Congratulations. I know that it's been a long ride for you, but this is where we're going to go. This is where we're going to win the culture. I am absolutely convinced that media is the missionary tool of our day.
I agree, Perry.
You know, whether it's social media, movies, television, radio, this is where we're going to reach the culture.
And it's where we're fighting the culture.
It really is.
You know, I was telling somebody the other day, a principle that I use is information is taught, attitudes are caught, values are bought. And what we're missing is that children are capturing their attitudes by what they see. And we're losing that war. And if we can bring positive messages and positive characters and positive heroes, then hopefully they'll want to be those kind of people rather than the Kardashians and other characters that model anger, aggressiveness. I think media will influence and continue to make our culture go negative or go positive. So I think you're exactly right.
Well, this is so important. Not only is it a great film for you to use right now and to enjoy with your family and friends, but we need to keep this ball rolling, because once this door is open and that industry begins to see, and I'm so glad to see Christians get back into the arts and take it at all levels of the arts, because I really think that's where we need to be.
Yeah, and because part of the art runs deeper in our soul than just words, and so the arts have always struck the soul, and even parents who have kids that are deeply in love with God and Jesus can go to this movie. All the conversations we have when we affirm God in the present tense, no matter how faithful our kid is, the more they hear of us talking about God and Jesus Christ in everyday life, the deeper that runs in their soul.
You know, the other thing I really appreciate about this movie, and we only got about a minute left, was the characters that you use, the age, that bracket, is so influential of what's going on in their heart and their lives. They're right in that, you know, pre-adolescence, everything's a big emotional roar, and you went right to their soul right there with that message.
Yeah, and I think they're the most vulnerable. I think kids that are 10 to 14, 15 are making life decisions without even knowing it about how they're going to act on a date and whether they're what kind of student they're going to be, and they're forming deep themes. And it was our hope, our dream, that we could influence those kids and say there's a better way to live life.
Well, it opens tomorrow and at Tinseltown in Medford and the theaters in Grants Pass. It's very important that we go out this weekend and support the Lost Medallion. So take family and friends, take neighbor kids, go see it. Make it an evening where you can share the gospel on your way to an ice cream cone when it's all over. Thanks, Bill, and congratulations.
Well, Perry, thanks for all you're doing on this station.
We love it. All right, see you next time.